Hello and welcome back to Mr. Miller's Art Room. Today we are going to be working on a very fun activity called Zentangle. Zentangle is a kind of drawing and design that utilizes lines, shadows, patterns, rhythm in order to create a beautiful work of art. Now the thing about Zentangle is that it doesn't require a lot of planning or thinking. This is an activity that we use in order to explore different kinds of lines and patterns and to calm our minds and our brains. Whatever we put down on the paper is just the way it's going to look, and we have to be okay with that. That's perfectly fine. We're going to discover new patterns and new ways of utilizing our drawing techniques. And the other cool thing is that if you continue creating your patterns and then you get bored of something, you can go ahead and try something a little bit different. The main thing that we're going to want to do is actually fill this entire page with our designs. So the way that we're going to do that is we have to think of where we're going to start and how we're going to start. I am going to start with using a series of horizontal and vertical lines next to each other. Now, it doesn't matter where I start, but I do have to make a decision. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the upper left-hand corner of the page. And I said vertical lines and horizontal lines. So here's some vertical lines that I will start with. And once I'm happy with that, I'm pretty good on that, I'm going to go with horizontal lines. I'm going to connect them together like this. Then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go back to horizontal lines. Now, as you can see, some of these lines are not connected, and I do want them to connect. And I'm going to do one more pass with some vertical lines, and then I'm going to switch it up to something else because my brain wants to explore. But I'm not necessarily going to start from here. I'm going to start from a different direction. Now, one of the cool things that you can do is actually turn the paper. Turning the paper in different directions not only allows your hand to explore the paper a little bit easier, but it also allows your mind's eye, your brain's eye, in order to see the paper and the design a little bit differently. So maybe I'm going to start in this upper left-hand corner now. Instead of using horizontal and vertical lines, I'm going to start using some curved lines like this, almost like a rainbow. And I'm going to keep going. I don't want my lines too close together, but I don't want them too far apart. Now that's a lot of space. I'm going to leave that there. The next one I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my paper, and maybe I'm going to start building up some bubbles of different sizes. Bubbles could be circles or ovals, and I'm going to let them touch a little bit. So I'll do a large one, a small one, a medium one, back to a large one, to a medium one. And I'm going to let myself explore, and that's really what it is, exploring. We explore as human beings areas that we're not familiar with. I don't know what I'm about to do. Now, this is interesting right here. I've gone off the paper edge, and that's perfectly okay. Your paper doesn't have to be Your drawing doesn't have to be completely directly inside of the paper space. Sometimes we can imply that there's more things happening outside of the paper space by allowing ourselves to draw off the paper. Now, if you get a little bit of the Sharpie on the table, that's okay. That's why we're an art class, so that way we don't have to worry about whether or not we mark up our desks. Here, we're okay to do that in our studio. Now what I want to do is I want to think of a different shape. Perhaps I can go ahead and use some triangles. So once I have an idea, triangle is my idea, then I have to think about how I might want to utilize triangles. Here I built up circles that are small, medium, and large, and I'm moving across the page. But maybe I want to go with some triangles. So let's go in a slightly different direction. I'm going to start over here, and maybe I want to go in this direction. So I'm going to start with some triangles, and maybe I'll kind of interlock them like this. Now, once I get to a space where there's already a drawing, I stop. I don't draw through the shapes.
What do you mean draw through the shapes, Mr. Miller?
Ah, Mr. Monocle. What I mean by that is that if you are drawing a line and you hit another line shape, you stop. Don't draw across the shape because you're going to lose some of the fun effect of it. So once I get here, I pretend to draw, and then I come down here and I stop, and maybe I come up here because this is where another triangle would go, and I stop, and we wouldn't necessarily see any line right there.
Very well. Now, let's see what you got.
Okay, so I'm going to continue this. I stop, pretend to draw, come back down, and if this triangle continued, it would go right here. I'm going to continue this set of triangles all the way across to about here. I'm pretty satisfied with that, and now what I'm going to do is try a different method. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around, and now what I want to do is use a series of rectangles. So I'm not exactly sure. I feel like I've built up this area a lot. I don't have a lot of happening over here, so maybe what I'll do is I'm going to move my rectangles in this direction, and I'll build it off of these curved lines. So I'll start with this rectangle here, and then maybe I'll build a rectangle here, and then over here, then over here. And it's okay if it starts to break into another shape. I just stop where the lines touch, and then I come over here, stop where the lines touch, and I'm just going to keep building these up. Once I've done that, I can take a look and see what else I would like to do. Now, we've got this area over here. This is kind of like dead space, and we've got some dead space over here. I'm thinking what I'd like to do is maybe continue some of these vertical and horizontal lines across this way. So what I'm going to do is actually add a horizontal line here, and then I'm going to turn my page, and I'm going to keep going in this direction. Now, I don't have to have a perfect plan as to how I'm going to do this. I just have to move my pen and not worry about the thinking too much. Notice how I want to make this look like it's continuing past the triangles. So I draw, I stop. I pick it up, put it down. Pretend to draw, put it down. Just like that. And then I'll come down here. So where there's a horizontal line that ends, I'll continue with the vertical lines. I'm going to continue the horizontal lines over here, and I'm going to fill in this gap space. I've realized that I don't have any diagonal lines, so in this area over here, I'm going to use some diagonal lines like this. I'm going to come across, just like so, stop, pick it up, pretend to draw, put it down, and I'm going to keep going with that. Another type of line I haven't used yet are zigzags. So maybe I'll have zigzags going at a diagonal direction in this way. I'll start right here. I'll zigzag just like this, and then I'll follow some zigzags all the way through. And then I will come over here. Now look, I don't want to draw inside this rectangle, but I want to pretend that I am so I can get to the other side. I also noticed that each of these bands that are curved have an opportunity inside each of them for a different kind of design. So let me see if I can decorate the inside of these. I'm going to start by building up some loops inside of this band right here. Let's see if I can use diagonal bands in this one to add some more interest. The next one, I'm going to do some more bubbles by adding circles inside this band. Next, we'll try some zigzags. We'll try some loops going in this direction this time. Let's go back to our diagonal bands, and we'll finish up with some dots. Finally, we have a finished Zentangle. Thank you all very much. Remember, this is just supposed to be a fun, relaxing activity for you to try out. We're going to be utilizing Sharpies, so remember, whatever you put down, it's not a mistake. You don't have to worry about erasing. And I cannot wait to see what you come up with. For Mr. Monocle and I say good day.
We said good day.